Okay, we're back to talk about Hijack Season 2, Episode 6 on Apple TV, titled Junction. This episode written by James Dormer and directed by Sean James Grant. Sam Nelson is shaken up but uninjured by the bomb that exploded in the last car. All other passengers appear to be safe as well. After the bomb goes off, the German police call off the handoff of John Bailey Brown and order his convoy back to the safe house. Jess contacts her handler, who turns out to be MI5 agent Robert Lang, who is a part of the John Bailey Brown convoy. He tells her and Sam that they have to get the exchange for Bailey Brown back on again, or he will blow up the entire train. Sam contacts the authorities, convinces them to keep the exchange as planned, but the police plan to put snipers in the path of the train and take it out as soon as it's close to their destination. Sam, getting close, takes Jess into the tunnels as a human shield, but Winter authorizes the sniper to shoot, and once again, an episode ends with their fates unclear. Elsewhere, the mother of the baby who got off the train discovers the flash drive that Sam hid and takes it to the police, who see a video of Jess killing Freddie. Marcia suspects her neighbors are not who they say they are, so she manages to escape the cabin and she learns that they killed the bodyguard who was sent to protect her. So now, back to back weeks, we have cliffhanger of last week a bomb, this week a gunshot. We don't know the
Yeah.
fates of Sam or Jess, but I'm willing to predict that they are going to be just fine going into
Yeah,
episode.
I'm sure they'll be fine. Yeah. Not worried about it. Sure they'll be fine. Um, what do you think about the explosion? I feel like, not to nitpick too much, maybe there should have been a little bit more in there about them having to like detach that car or something.
Yeah.
Um, it seems like is that car like actually sort of fine and only exploded on the inside?
Yeah, it seems
I don't know.
like
They don't even really tell us. But
this
ultimately, it's like, well, we can drive.
these are the things I noted after the explosion that I put here. Okay, no one's dead. No one seems to be really injured. The train still works. It can still go down the tracks just fine, even if it's like, got half of a car hanging off the back of it or whatever. The communications seem to still be okay. The only thing that's been impacted is now at the train, central depot, they can't track where it is for some reason. So something about the explosion, it doesn't allow them to know exactly where they are, which is convenient, obviously, for the story, but I don't know why that sort
Yeah.
of tracks with everything else that we got with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that the older woman we refer to multiple times, like she banged her head or something. I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly. She's not doing well. Um, I don't think she's gotten a name.
No.
Apologies if she has. It would certainly be convenient if she had a name instead of us having to,
I know.
figure out how to refer to this woman of an indefinite age, what have you. Um,
That's right.
Still don't really know what's going on with her. I mean, she's been a running character where it really does feel like the show wants us to care about her.
Yeah.
Not just as a human being, but like it's giving us nudges as though she's going to be narratively important. And I don't know that that's paid off yet.
Yeah. Before we had the Jess reveal, I may have even mentioned, I thought that she was going to be the one or one of the ones who were a part of the conspiracy. Now it just seems that, she's got a concerned husband there looking after her and she was partially injured in this blast and, she's not doing well. But yeah, we do keep cutting to her, but there's no other real story other than they just keep checking on each other.
Yeah, I don't feel like they've done the best job with the random passengers on the train in terms
Yeah,
of
that's right.
characterizing them and giving them some depth. I mean, it's just also the kid George, who they really put something of a spotlight on early on because
Hmm.
he was anxious about getting on the train and all of that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
at one point panics and pulls the emergency brake and so on. It's like I was definitely getting the impression that George was going to be this character who suffers from an anxiety disorder and has some big problems, as the
Yes.
train's hijacked. And not so much. They just like show him every once in a while.
He seems to
There's
be
George.
doing okay. I was
You're
exactly the
doing
same.
fine. You're not freaking out. It's like you laid the groundwork for me to predict that he was going to freak out. but I mean, he kind of did the one time when he pulled the brake, but beyond that, um, so I don't know. Anyway, let's focus on some of this stuff that's maybe interesting to think through. As you say, they are able to proceed ultimately with the train. And the only real effect of the explosion from last week seems to be that the dispatch can no longer track where the train is
Right.
for some reason. As you said, kind of narratively convenient.
Yeah.
Um, they figure out that when they get to the station, um, there's going to be cops or whatever. I don't know how to put this. Because like, of course, but like, was Sam naive enough to ever think that they were just going to hand over John Bailey Brown? I mean,
Yeah. In what world, in what real or fictional or otherwise, have the police agreed to, yeah, we're just going to hand over a terrorist. We're not going to, have any of our presence around there. When someone says, on the phone menacingly, come alone or no one else or no cops. How often does that ever happen? I mean, you can't be naive enough to think that there would be no attempt to either have their people there or to try to take them over in some way.
yeah. But they find out a bit more strongly than that, right? Because now that Jess has been revealed to be in league with hijackers, masterminds, whatever, um, Sam puts pressure on her, ultimately gets her to call this guy, Robert Lang, right? We're getting confirmation of the idea that the person behind the hijacking was someone who was in the safe house, right?
Yeah.
Um, Still a question as to why he's doing this and all of that, right? Um, but basically, in their conversation, it boils down to get things back on track, or I'm going to blow up everyone on the train, and then they manage to sufficiently get things back on track, and then the convoy is still heading to the train station. But through all of this, Sam, Jess, and Otto learn that there's also going to be like a SWAT team and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah. So I guess Robert Lang, communicates that through Jess to them. I should have done the homework on this, but at first, for some reason, I guess my mind just got pulled in two different directions. But at first, I thought that they were talking to Detective Zoran. I mean, not that there's a little bit of similarity in the way they look there, but I should have gone back a little bit. Who is Robert Lang? How much have we seen of him? What has been his role in this show up until now, other than he's part of this group of people driving this convoy? It just, I just misdirection, I guess. Would have thought it was Faber, would have thought it was Zoran, would have thought it was Thacker, anybody else other than just this. We haven't really seen much of them character.
Yeah, I mean, he really does feel like a guy that we've seen around some,
Yeah,
and that's about it. Like in the previous episode when they are moving John Bailey Brown out of the safe house and Faber shows up and it's like Faber wants to stop that and fly him out of Germany. Um, this guy's there, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But he's just sort of been there and they've shown his face here and there. And then now they're saying, yeah, he's the one uh, who's forcing Sam. There's at least some indication that Jess is doing it for money. I don't know if there's more to that story. I kind of hope there is
yeah,
with her and with Otto, but maybe there isn't. I mean, I guess people will do a lot of things for money, but I don't know, man. I don't know if you could pay me enough money to say, and the deal is you're going to hijack a train with explosives underneath it that might blow up. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
But we know nothing
I don't know
about
how much money.
we know nothing about Jess's background. Although I get the impression that seems to be there's some coercion happening there, but we don't know anything about Jess, why she is there, what money would be, why money would be the incentive to do this. Is she in some sort of debt to these people? Does something happen? I'd be, as you said, a much more willing, I think, participant in this if you had captured my family or there was some other thing hanging over me more than just here, we're going to pay you a bunch of money to go, hijack a train.
Right. I mean, I don't know how much money it would have to be, honestly,
Yeah.
because like factored into that is your confidence that you're going to get out of it alive and without getting
Exactly.
arrested and all of that kind of stuff, So, but maybe there's more to her story that we'll find out as we move forward. Regardless, given how everything has gone, um, they realize that dispatch doesn't know where they are
Hmm.
because they're asked to tell them when they pass a certain signal. And I was like, well, we already passed that a while ago.
Yep.
So it would seem that their plan at this point is to divert the train because it wouldn't normally go to like Bergenstrasse or whatever,
Bergenstock, yeah.
which is like an end of the line kind of station. And so that's why they get out and that's what they're doing, right? And then Otto is supposed to come pick them up. He
Hmm.
gets delayed because of the older woman doing poorly and trying to administer first aid because he's a nice guy or whatever. And our SWAT team guys are coming down the tunnel, and I know that's probably not the right word for um, these German
They
cops,
are
but
the GSG, whatever that stands for.
okay, whatever. I'm American, whatever. I'm just uh, and so they see Sam and Jess. Also, the USB delivery has gone through in a way that's timed right up with this, apparently, to where in the dispatch they are seeing Jess kill Freddy, right? And so I don't think this has quite gone how Sam wanted it to go when he initiated that plan. We can talk about
Right.
that a little bit, maybe. But they've gotten that awareness, and then, as you say, at the end of the episode, it's rifles fired, roll credits. We don't know what happened exactly. What do you think about well, what do you think Sam's original plan was with the USB drive, and how do you think that that stands now?
I, part of me thinks, is he hoping that, as he's trying to play the part, play the role of getting this train to pick up John Bailey Brown, he's hoping that authorities will in some way um, take over this train or take back this train. And the flash drive was a way to show, which it seems it started the ball rolling of getting them there, but showing that this is not just Sam that's doing this, or Sam is not the one responsible here, or Sam is not the one that have to be worried about. It's someone else. So he needs to sort of both lay the groundwork for it's not really me that you have to be worried about, and also um, I'm going to fulfill this plan while hoping that I don't get caught in the crossfire of people that are trying to take me out.
Yeah, I feel like when he initiated that plan with USB drive, first we have to bear in mind that he didn't know that Jess was working with the bad guys yet, right? So they knew someone had killed Freddy, but they didn't know who.
Yeah.
And I took it as a move to try to get the authorities to know that he wasn't really in control. That's what I thought at the time. Also, that, he wanted to know who it was that killed Freddy, and maybe this could be a way to find out, right? But they end up finding out it was Jess on their own in the meantime. What I'm kind of curious about, I guess, is that unsurprisingly, perhaps, instead of the authorities taking this as an indication that Sam isn't really in control, they just immediately jump to, oh, well, he has this accomplice. This woman is working with him.
Hmm.
That seems like how they take it so far. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in the video that they've seen or nothing, no evidence they have to show that Sam is innocent. All they have is confirmation that Jess killed Freddy, but they don't know that they don't have confirmation Sam did not blow up part of the train, that he has not threaten these passengers, that he's not taking auto hostage, whatever else it is, that there's nothing that they have yet to show that he is innocent, only that he just did not do one specific thing.
Yeah. I do somewhat predict that they're going to start putting it together. Like someone's going to start asking
Yeah.
whether this really makes sense and making some inferences and so on and so forth. But we'll see. We have, I believe, 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Um,
And to that point, that this is something I got hung up on, maybe much more so last episode, episode 5, than this one, but these passengers on this train that have been hijacked, I mean, clearly, you know, we have over the last 25 years a lot of stories of different things being hijacked. Um, these guys are very willing to like sit down and have a conversation with their hijacker as opposed to we're taking this over. Maybe I just got too much like, you know, 9/11 in my mind or something, but passengers just we're going to take this over so that no more damage is caused here or but they're just yeah, we'll listen to Sam and what hear him out and maybe if we believe him and it just seems to be again another little thing that's convenient as opposed to listen, there are 30 of us, let's just overpower them and take this thing back.
well, I don't know because they kind of moved in that direction last week, as I recall. And then the upshot of that was discovering that Jess has to put in codes to prevent explosions as
Yeah.
opposed to having, a detonator, right? So I don't know, I guess to what degree do they understand the situation at this
Yeah.
point, right? Like
Yeah.
if they were to take control from Sam, from Jess, tie them up and all of that,
Yeah.
that they wouldn't really be out of the woods, I guess. Although,
I think when they make the first initial charge, they don't know about Jess at that point. They go
yeah,
straight for Sam. They take the pipe or the piece of the railing or whatever it is, and they attack him with it, and it gets him down for a bit. And then it's sort of a wait, 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 hear me out first, and they agree to do that, as opposed to let's just get this thing driven to a stop and get out of here. I don't know. Again, there's some nuance of who's doing what and what they understand and what they don't at what timing. So, just probably a generalization on my part, but just
yeah. No, maybe you're right. I don't know. I realized I was saying what I think the show wants us to be thinking,
yeah,
but you may really have a point here because now that they do know, they know the deal, right? And Jess is involved, and but she doesn't have a detonator. She has something to put codes into. Um, I guess there's a question of whether there are other eyes on the train.
yes,
But if you put that aside, if you presume that there aren't, then yeah, why not or bull rush the
yeah.
driver? What word do I want here?
Yeah,
Cab
so the
cockpit, cockpit's not the right word.
the conductor, Sam and Jess would not be too easy to not be too hard to to take down as it
Overpower.
were, or, to just sort of just help them to disengage from what's happening there. They already know the numbers now because Jess told them what they were to enter them into the detonator, so they can keep
Well,
entering them in if they had to.
nah, you can't say that.
No, she told them.
She told them, but do you remember those numbers? Did
No,
you
but
think that
I'm
did someone write them down? I'm not sure anyone wrote them down. I don't know that we've got, you know,
if you tie up
we have
Jess and
some.
threaten her life, I bet she would give them to you again. You could write them down.
Yeah, okay, maybe. And then you could ask whether they trust that. But anyway, you got me thinking that, look, if they could potentially take control of the train, get the train to stop, just get off the train, run away down the tunnel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Um, why aren't they doing that? I mean, I guess it would take everyone working together, and it's not a straightforward wager,
Yeah,
because
you're right. You're
on
right.
the one side is the idea that, hey, we could take control of the train, get it to stop, get off the train, and run away. The risk is that while we're doing that, the bad guys blow up the train and we all die.
Yep. Yep.
On the other side of things is calmly hope that the situation gets resolved without us blowing up and dying somehow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know what the safer bet is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Not an easy solution. I mean, I don't ever want to presume I would know what to do in a hijack situation.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's easy to say, hey, there's more of us than there are of them. If we all team up, we can take out the hijackers, right? But you mentioned 9/11.
Yeah.
The story goes that that happened on one of the planes, not
Yeah.
the other ones.
Not the other ones. I mean, that was a calculation of we do this, we know we're going to die, so we just have to do it to save other
Hmm.
people.
Yeah. Um, let's see, a couple other things. You mentioned Marsha. I have some quibbles here as well. Like she's very smart in figuring out and sort of testing this couple
Yeah.
by mentioning the name of the hospital and using the wrong name and all of that, right? So far, so good. She's being smart, right? She gets them to think she snuck out the back when she hasn't really,
Yeah.
so she can like take the guy's keys. Okay, but now I'm thinking, run away, right? But instead, it's like she wants to go and find the car with the dead body in it. Do you, from the information that she already had,
Yeah.
couldn't you make that inference? You really need to go and find that car and see that guy's dead body in order to know that
I,
you're being threatened.
I really had a problem with this part because yes, she does this eloquent job of escaping, and then when you're in the forest, I mean, you're just trying to get away without any trace of where you went or not letting them follow you. And yet, what she does starts walking
Beep
around the
beep.
forest like she's lost in the mall parking lot trying to find her car, and just sets off the alarm over and over again. So it just that completely made no sense to me.
Right. And then I got to wondering, like, she must have a car up there somewhere, right?
Yeah, you would think.
I can't recall if we've seen it or not, but you would think that she drove up there. And so I'm thinking her right plan should be to try to get to her car and, get
Yeah,
out of there.
exactly.
Or, I mean, I don't know with where that SUV or whatever is in the woods. I don't know if you could drive it out of there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
even when she found the car with the dead body in it, part of me thinking like, get in the car and drive away. Like, what are
yeah.
you
Go,
doing?
go.
Particularly when you've just made noises. Yeah, I don't know. They bothered me. Also because it's like I'm pretty sure the threatening couple knows where the car is,
Exactly.
right?
They know
Because they
exactly
put
where it
it
is.
there. So you start making it go beep beep, and then they say, "Oh well, she's headed to the car,"
Right,
and
right.
she runs away before they get there. But I don't know. She's got to be relatively close by, and she gave up something of her potential advantage in terms of them not
Exactly.
knowing where she is, what direction she went in, any of that kind of stuff. You know, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
not the
I
smartest
had a
move,
problem
Marcia.
with that. Yeah,
So we'll see what happens there. It is interesting because my read on it is that they are supposed to be in position threatening her, but they're not supposed to kill her at this point. So,
correct. Correct. She is absolutely
yeah.
leveraged, and yeah, they can find her, but they can't do anything to her.
Let's see. At least one more thing I wanted to hit on. Another thing where we talked, I believe, last week about what the show was doing with these scenes of Daniel talking to Stuart in prison or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like we did maybe get something in this episode because when Daniel tells him that they called off the convoy, I don't think he tells him about the explosion.
No, he says there has been an explosion in Berlin,
Okay,
and
if he
that
does.
he's worried that it's over. And then Stewart just gets really upset about that.
Right. So my question, one way or the other, is why does he get as upset as he gets?
Yeah, I it just goes back to I guess our conversation from last week. Like being in prison, what does he know? Who is he able to be in contact with? Is he a part of this plan, and how is he involved? You would think he really couldn't be, but clearly there's somebody in there feeding him information or able to get information out from him.
Right. Yeah. So I had two kind of speculative thoughts here. One would be, oh, well, he actually is behind this in some
Hmm.
way, pulling strings from prison. That might make some sense of some of the ways in which it seems like people aren't operating quite fully in line with what we saw the Cheapside firm doing in season one, right? Where it seemed like in season one, it seemed pretty clear that it was
Yeah.
we're going to coerce and manipulate you to do what we want you to do by threatening your family, and then we're going to kill you and your family, right? Like that's their MO in season one, and we've talked about this a few times over the course of season two, how it doesn't quite feel like that. So
Correct. Yep.
that could be a reason, a way it hangs together. Um, Another possibility is just, well, that Stewart's upset about the idea that John Bailey Brown would be joining him in prison because John Bailey Brown's mad at him or whatever.
Yeah,
But
John Bailey Brown somehow, things got turned around between the two of them and thinks, JBB thinks somehow Stewart's involved in his being captured and doesn't. But I
maybe he
mean,
is.
would they actually put them in the same place, within proximity of each other? I mean, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you might think that they would keep them separated, um,
Yeah.
knowing their past associations. But yeah, I mean, you hit on another possibility here. Maybe Stewart um, was involved in John Bailey Brown being captured by
Yeah.
Faber and all of that. So
Yeah.
I still have my suspicions about Faber too. We don't see all that much of him in this episode. Really curious to see how this all comes together, and I hope they at least land the proverbial plane well.
Like they did in season one, you mean?
Yeah, like just like they did in season one. Um, I am guessing that neither Jess nor Sam will have been shot at the beginning of next episode. It's possible though.
Right.
Um, if not, if Otto manages to pick them up, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is at that point.
Yeah. I'm
But what they would have going for them is, okay, well, the authorities don't know where we are, right?
yeah.
So you could drive around in the train system potentially without the authorities knowing where you are. But at the same time, that move undermines the idea of the handoff that they had been talking about. So I am curious, like, what exactly Sam has in mind
Yeah,
moving
I think
forward.
that the idea of them not being able to be tracked was introduced to set up something in the end game here, right? This thing with the handoff is not going to go well, and so something of the fact that they can't be tracked anymore is how Sam's going to get out of this.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see. Anything else you want to say about this one before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
All right, then. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast. Hope that you have enjoyed it. If so, please do leave us a good rating, review, all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Greatly appreciated. Check out tvobsessive.com for written work on TV, past and present, and into the future, and so on. If you want to follow the site on social media, search for TV Obsessive. You should find us. And as for the podcast, we'll be back with you next week.
All right, looking forward to that. We will see you then.